Great. It does show me live on our YouTube and Facebook. So I do want to check that we're streaming okay before we get started and going. All right, I am starting to see the little notification pop up and some people begin to join us on the broadcast. So, good morning, afternoon, or evening, whenever it is that you are joining us onto our live broadcast. I want to welcome you officially to our page. If you are viewing this on Facebook, then thank you for engaging with us on our Facebook platform. You can do yourself a huge favor of beating the algorithm by not only liking our page, but making sure that you are following it. And as we post content or have these live streams, you're able to get notified in real time and can kind of drop what you're doing, hopefully, and join us in, or kind of mentally note that so you can go back to us later on and watch us on replay. Now, if you are tuned in with us on our YouTube channel, you can still also engage with us, of course, in the same way on our YouTube platform by subscribing to the YouTube channel. Enables you to get those alerts when we go live, and even after. YouTube has this fun feature of kind of showing like a video has already dropped even after it's been done. So that's kind of for your education. We have these videos available to you in the video section at any point in time to rewatch, rewind, and engage with us on it. Of course, we ask if you are tuned in later on to give us the hashtag replay so we can be able to easily pull up any comments that you might have or questions that you wanted us to direct to our guest, which takes me to the way that you can engage with this broadcast. You can do so by reacting to this video, any emojis that you want to give our way. Hearts are preferred. Of course, you can also hit the share button on this video so others in your network are able to see the content and learn more about some of our area businesses and our business community as a whole. And then the final way that you can, of course, engage with us is in the chat section. The chat section allows you to share any comments that you might have, any questions that come to your mind that you may want us to direct to our guests, depending on when in the conversation you bring that up. We may or may not be able to feed it into them, but know that we will try and at least capture some of your thoughts or sentiments. So those are the ways to engage with us on this broadcast. Wednesdays are my especially a fun broadcast because we get a chance to see some of the faces behind our business, which is often missed when you see brands or just names. You really don't see the people behind it. And so I'm very excited to have with us the team out there at Allo Doula Academy. And thank you both for being on here and taking up this opportunity.
Thank you so much for having us. We are thrilled to be part of the chamber and to share more about who we are in our school here in Westminster and the impact that we can make in the community. So thank you so much, Juliet, for having us.
Of course. Yes, I'm so excited to jump right in. But before I do, I just want to quickly display a comment that we've had from Jessica, who's already tuned in with us. Jessica, you are setting a great example for other people by showing them what happens when you comment or provide us some feedback. We'll be able to pull you onto the screen. Our guests can see that good morning message. We love the flattery. So thank you so much for that. And hopefully your profile picture is something you are equally as proud of as Jessica is, being a mama to two beautiful kiddos that she has. With that, I want to go ahead and transition to our conversation and this kind of opportunity to learn more about your school and who you all are. So let's just dive into it and learn more about you all. Are you from Colorado? Are you transplants to the area? Where is home?
Both of us are natives, actually, which you don't find very often.
Yes. And are you co-owner, or can we share a little bit more about your kind of your name and then the role around what you do with your individual schools?
Absolutely. So Sarah and I are co-founders of Allo Doula Academy. We started this company 5 years ago, about 5 years ago in 2018, that came about really in the industry where we've both been in the industry for a long time. We've known each other in the industry and kind of felt this connection in this pool to say, hey, I see you over there. I see you over there. And what are you doing? How are you doing? How are you hanging in there?
Yeah.
The industry has kind of been through some waves here, and we kind of found ourselves connecting and finding community in those waves and in those moments. And that kind of started building what we have now, which is a full-blown private occupational school. We train doulas, caregivers, in-home support, family providers, and do a full certification program. We offer a lot of continuing education, a lot of professional development classes. We do lunch and learns. We do community events. We host a conference every year for this entire industry. What am I missing, Sarah?
Oh, I don't know. We're really warm and we're care providers at heart. But Sarah and I, when we came back to the table to create Allo Doula, it was because we saw a need in this community that needed strong leadership. And we felt like we were the perfect fit.
Right? If you don't say so yourself. Yeah. I love it. And how long ago was that you actually decided to pursue this opportunity? Like, you saw it here in the market, you knew you all had the skill set and the know-how to get it done, or maybe approach it in a different way. And when did that really happen?
So I've been in this industry for 20 years. So I'm a mama of college-age children. And Sarah and I have worked in this industry kind of side by side
for a long time.
That's how it worked out. We sat on a board together. She was president, I was a secretary, and it was part of this doula community. When we started working together as sisters, like sister agencies, sister co-workers, she had people that worked with her, I had people that worked with me, and we started cross-sharing. But a lot of newer grads from other certification programs came our way, and they're like, we're lost. We need mentorship. And we know you've been here the longest. And so we mentored these really amazing people to be even more amazing people. And by the time we have done 25 mentorships, one of the students looked at us like, why don't you train?
Why don't you just do this?
And we were like,
oh, okay.
All right. About that, right?
Say that.
Yeah.
And
the school was founded in 2018, and so all of that was kind of leading up to it for a couple of years. We were doing mentorship and working on our own, but Allo Doula has really been around for about 5 years. Lots of brainstorming, lots of vision casting, saying, well, what does our industry really need, and what have we found in each other? Can we provide that for the rest of the community? So we are very baby in terms of our age, but also know that we've been in this space for a really long time.
Absolutely. Now, you've already shared with us a little bit of the services that you all offer through the Academy, and specifically some of the market that you try and reach and connect with. And so I would like to ask, is it common for schools to be around, or if there are numerous ones across the state, for example, what makes you all unique or sets you apart from them?
Is it common for schools to be around that are trade schools for doulas?
No.
Yeah.
We're the first one out there.
That is so awesome. And that's why I was like, this is so unique that you guys are doing that here. And so you have this unique opportunity of really setting the trend for future ones that want to look to you and turn to you as an example for them. And probably with that comes some amount of pressure in a good way, and some amount of pressure that probably keeps you up at night, right? Like
we're always up at night. We're holding babies or we're holding people's legs, as doulas.
Pun intended. That was like purely.
And then there's the business part too, where we're like, okay.
Yeah.
But when we decided to open the Academy, we looked at this as something different. It was not just going to be a training organization that people came in for a couple of days and then people were lost. And we're like, how can we be different? And she and I being that this is our profession.
Mhm.
This isn't a hobby. This is our job. And we wanted to express to the rest of the doula community and for the rest of the families that there are doulas that take this just as seriously as a doctor or a lawyer or a nurse.
Mhm.
And we want to provide the best care. So we are the thought leaders, the trendsetters in this doula world that is going to make an impact to set this profession as a profession nationally.
Yeah.
And that's our goal.
Yeah, that is such an ambitious goal, and it's so exciting to hear it and see it, and in a sense, be a part of it, through our partnership together. Jessica commented something that was super sweet, so I wanted to just pull it up for you so you can both see it and be aware of it. But she was sharing how, both of you were meant to start this school up, and that you've been growing that community for quite some time. And that speaks to your level of experience, even in the industry. I know that was an answer that you gave a short while ago of how many years you've been doing this, and how invested you all are both personally and professionally into that. It shows in taking something on like this. I also see Kim with us. Thank you for joining us, Kim, on the broadcast. We have one of our newer partners that we're introducing. We've touched a little bit about the Academy in terms of the services they offer, and how they are a full-blown occupational school, one of the only one in the state of Colorado, and probably for the fewest nationwide, if I'd imagine as well, my guess. Co-owners that are here have been working together for several years and kind of made this idea become a reality a few years ago. So a lot to take in that we have reviewed, and you can always catch up if you're joining us now at the start of the broadcast by rewinding and rewatching when we're no longer live. If you all are okay with it, I want to jump right into some of the myths that I have seen kind of come across online.
Absolutely.
Maybe people might feel, in terms of, okay, I don't want to seek this particular because I already have this, right? So here's one, and it's a fun one because I'm sure the way that you're going to answer is going to be I love it. Okay, so
You're ready.
Hold it, right? You are ready for this. So here is, let's see if this is a myth or if it's fact. Since my partner is so supportive, I do not need a doula.
Take that.
Good. This is so common. Here's kind of our spiel about this is that I love it when we have supportive partners, when we have a family that comes to us and says, I'm on board, but my partner's not. They feel like they're the ones who can do all the work. And the first thing I say to them is like, well, that's a lot of pressure to put on them. That is so much weight that they have to carry to remember all of the things and to try to keep everything sorted in their brain, that they can't really be so present in the moment. If they're trying to hold all that pressure and be the support person, but also be the research and be the advocate and be the physical provider and to take care of themselves too. We support the family as a whole. We think that it is their experience together. They should experience it as a family. They should have the opportunity to feel the feels and to be present in the moment. So having a doula there is somebody that can hold space for them to really ensure that they have a great experience together, that it's not just about the birthing person, that the partner is experiencing it too. The partner needs support. They are the ones who have been there the whole time too. They need to eat. They need to have a nap. They need to step out and go to the bathroom. And it's really nice to say, let me be that person for you. Let me be your guide. Let me kind of wrangle all the horses, for lack of a better term, and just give you guys the peace and the time to be present in the moment. And then if you have questions, you don't have to remember all the answers. That's why I'm here. I'm here to help you navigate this journey. I'm here to help you walk the pathway, right? And the doula is like the guide that say, well, let's just get around the corner and there's a beautiful view. And give you that extra push to say, right here's not a good stopping place. Let's just keep going. Or right here would be a really good stopping place. Let's have a moment. Let's take a breather. And I think that that's kind of like the best way to describe it, to say you still can use a doula. The other thing is that we're not emotionally attached, if that makes sense. There's a level of professionalism here where we can look at the lens to say, I'm not going to judge you for your decisions. I'm not biased towards any of your decisions. I'm supporting you to say, what do you want to do? Let's do this to get there together, and not be the partner or the mom or the mother-in-law saying, well, if it were my child, I would do it this way.
Right.
You know? So a doula has a little bit step removal in to say that we're not emotionally attached to it. We don't bring those like triggers or judgments or biases with it.
Sure. Yeah, it sounds like you've gotten this question before because you answered it so eloquently. And I think that was probably the best way that you could have explained, that it is a lot of pressure and you are a part of that holistic support system. So I loved that answer you gave. This next one, I'm sure you also have heard quite often, and that's doulas are the same as midwives. Let's try and clarify this for people that may have this perception or understanding.
It's so funny because if you ever tell people here, so you're like a midwife, and then you're in the middle of TJ Maxx saying, no, I'm not like a midwife. I'm a doula, and here's what doulas do. So we provide physical, educational, and emotional support. That's our scope of practice in a nutshell. And so what makes us different is that we navigate those non-medical places. Midwives come to the table as that medical provider and that medical touch point to be like the physician and to do all of those hard medical things and to do blood pressures and vaginal checks and know when is when for the mama and the baby and the partner to make decisions to keep everybody safe, where we're there to hold space and to provide information and education and rub a back and be that support person that doesn't have anything to do with medicine. We have everything to do about the feels.
Well, and that actually is a perfect segue to this next myth that I wanted to bring up, or maybe it's not a myth, right? Like we are debunking these as they come along, but this one speaks to the doctors and the hospital piece that you were just referencing, and particularly says that doulas dislike doctors. Is there an actual truth to this type of statement?
So I think probably historically there has been this stigma around that it's us against them mentality in the doula space. And that's one of the biggest differences here with Allo Doula Academy versus other doula training organizations or some of this traditional learning of we need doulas there to kind of fight and stand against the healthcare system. And we truly believe that we are part of the care team, that we are a member of that care team, that we can work with doctors and hospitals and staff, that together we'll have a better outcome if we're all on the same team. Together, the clients get better care, the patients have better care when we're all there on the same page. And it's super important for us that we train our doulas with that mentality, with the tools, with the appropriate language, with how they show up when they are on in a hospital or birthing facility, or just working with other healthcare providers, is that we respect their position and in turn get respect for our position in what we do. We stay in our scope of practice and stay in our lane. And when we stay in our lane and we understand that, then we can get the respect, then we can work together in synergy. One of those key differences here at Allo that we teach that has led us to a partnership with St. Joseph's Hospital. So we run a hospital doula program with St. Joe's, and they recognize that big piece. And they said, we want doulas that are part of the care team here. We want to work together with the doulas. If we don't want this mentality of it's us against them, or we kind of have to fight the doctors because we dislike them and we dislike the healthcare system. We said, no, our doulas are trained different and we will show up. And so that was one of the key points to that hospital coming and working with us and creating a program and a partnership here. So all of our doulas that work through that program have a badge. They have hospital privileges. They still serve the client, but are seen as a part of the care team. And that's like the best thing that we can talk about, if we all work together.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that is a true measure of how you're building that partnership or relationship when they have voluntarily engaged and included you in the way that they provide those services to their
Right.
patients. I love that. Here's a final myth for us to kind of go over, and that's that only those who want a natural birth hire a doula. There's no need to hire for a cesarean type of birth. And I think this speaks to a little bit of our earlier, right? Like where you see a midwife versus a doula and the services that you speak to. Anything that you want to add to that?
Totally. Doulas are actually more than just birth providers too, or birth workers. And there used to be this stigma also about doulas are just there for natural delivery, because if you have a cesarean or even an epidural or other pain management, why would you need a doula there?
Mm-hmm.
And again, like I said earlier, a doula is still a guide. A doula is still that advocate, is still that person in the room there with you. I mean, if anything, they need a doula for a cesarean section, because mom is usually on the table a whole lot longer, and dad and baby, or partner and baby, will leave, and mom is left there to do all the closing
Right.
procedures and things like that. And to have a doula by her side is to have someone to hold her hand and to talk to her and to, wipe the vomit off her face and to do all those things that are not being taken care of. So doulas have a place regardless of their pathway through childbirth, regardless of how this baby is born, regardless, a doula still serves as that person for the entire family, to be the support measure there too.
Yeah.
And then I will just mention this too, that doulas are not just birth providers. Doulas are full spectrum care providers. Doulas are professional support people to show up through any major life transition. So doulas can provide support through fertility. We can provide support through long-term illness, cancer, adoption, surrogacy, end-of-life support. There are bereavement doulas and end-of-life doulas, divorce doulas. I mean, really any type of major life transition that somebody would be going through, or a change or something, a doula can provide support that way.
Well, thank you so much for answering those. I know they were rapid fire, quick questions that I asked, but you both did a great job in providing greater context and clarity. I always love them because it allows you to open up and share more about your industry and yourself outside of the traditional, answer these standard questions. And I hope others that have either been thinking these thoughts or maybe have heard them are now a little bit more empowered to answer it a little differently for those in their network or themselves, and hopefully can reach out for your particular services and everything that you offer. What I've done is also included in the chat where you all are located, right off of Raleigh Street. And I've also included quickly in the chat as well, your phone number for people to be able to contact you all directly. But for those of you that are tuned in with us a little bit later, if you had a particular question that we didn't get to, you can always type it into the chat or a comment. If you yourself personally have a question that's a little bit more private, we understand that. You can always DM the page and we'll get that over to our guests as well. And know that we're here as a resource. Our small businesses, including this academy, are here as a resource to the community. They see that need and they're here to kind of fill that. So I do want to thank all of you that have tuned in. And I want to thank both of you, our guests and co-owners of the Academy. I'm so excited to work with you in the capacity as a chamber. And as you grow and adapt, we will continue to grow and adapt and pivot in our partnership together. So I sincerely wish you all the best rest of your Wednesday, middle of the week. And I can't wait for us to reconnect again soon.
It was so nice to be here.
Thank
you.
Thank you.